Was romantic love invented by men to trap women? Is romantic love ruining our relationships? Part 2. Was romantic love invented by poor men so they can have access to beautiful women? Every relationship you enter has 5 stages, and sadly most people never continue the relationship after the second stage. Stage 1. The attraction stage. Butterflies, excitement, endless calls. Everything feels perfect, but it's just the surface. Stage 2. The conflict stage. Disagreements begin, you see their flaws, they see yours. Ego clashes, misunderstandings, and old wounds appear. This is where most relationships end. Stage 3. The healing stage. If there are real compatibilities between the two lovers, and if you stay, you grow. You start listening, forgiving, learning. This is where love deepens. It's no longer fantasy, it's a choice. Stage 4. The team stage. You fight together, not each other. You protect your peace. Decisions are made as a unit. Respect becomes the foundation. Stage 5. The legacy stage. You have built more than love, a life, a mission, a future. It's not always passionate, but it's powerful, and that's real love. Most couples crash at stage 2 because conflict feels like failure, but it's actually the gateway to depth. Love isn't about avoiding storms, it's about weathering them side by side. If you are still here after the fights, the tears, the silence, you're not just in love, you're building something eternal. Love is not like what you see in romantic movies or read in the books from the romantic era. So stop idealizing love. Be realistic and be the best version of yourself if you want the best lover or the best spouse for you. Most men and women are playing the same game, but they're playing different positions. A lot of people get angry when they hear that women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of commitment. But step back for a second and think about football. The forward and the goalie are both playing the same game. They're on the same field. They're even trying to win for the same team, but they're not doing the same job. The job of the forward is to score. The job of the goalie is to protect the goal. Men and women often approach relationships the same way. For most men, access to intimacy is a challenge. For most women, filtering intimacy is the challenge. A man spends much of his life trying to earn opportunities. A woman spends much of her life deciding which opportunities deserve access. It's different challenges, different responsibilities, and here's where people get confused. Men often assume that women value the same things that men do. Women often assume that men value the same things women do, but they do not. Generally speaking, men are attracted to beauty, femininity, warmth, character, and virtue. Women are attracted to strength, confidence, leadership, status, and man's ability to provide security. And neither side is wrong. They are simply just optimizing for different things. A beautiful woman who receives endless attention but remains selective demonstrates something important like discipline, self-respect, standards. The ability to say no when saying yes would be easier, and men notice that. And likewise, a man who could pursue many women but chooses commitment demonstrates something equally valuable like restraint, loyalty, self-mastery, and women notice that. And that's why the advice for each gender is different. Women, be careful with who you sleep with. Intimacy is powerful. Don't give husband privileges to men who haven't demonstrated husband character. Men, Be careful who you commit to. Commitment is powerful. Don't hand your future, your finances, your children, your peace, and your legacy to someone because you're intoxicated with them. Rose-colored glasses that you wear on the first stage of love make red flags look gray. And the point isn't that one side is harder. The point is that both sides have a gate to protect. Women, please protect access to intimacy. Men, protect access to commitment. And when both men and women exercise wisdom, what they control, relationships become infinitely healthier. Different positions, but the same team, same field, and same goal. Every man wants to spend his life with a woman who brings him peace, but a lot of men forget that her peace is a reflection of how the man treats that woman. A woman cannot be a man's peace if from the very beginning that man does not offer her peace. So stop expecting so much from a woman when all you do as a man is giving her more problems. When the woman is constantly stressed, overwhelmed, and on the edge because beside the 9-to-5 job that she has, she also has to solve all the problems from the home, like cooking, cleaning, taking care of the children, like she is the only parent of the children, etc. So if she is overwhelmed, you'll never get the best version of her. And no, she's not being dramatic, and she doesn't require too much. She just wants the same peace and support that the man is asking her to give him because she's caring more than a man can realize. So, offer her peace, provide and protect for her. Be her partner also inside the house, not only in physical intimacy, and she'll naturally want to offer peace to her man. The secret with your long-term relationships is the minute the man stops courting the woman, he is in a downward spiral. What do I mean by courting her? Well, making time for her, complimenting her, opening doors for her, the same kind of behavior that you engaged in the first 6 months you were together. When was the last time you brought her a gift spontaneously, brought her flowers, got her anything if it wasn't her birthday? If you're doing that, you got an advantage with a beautiful, successful woman because there are no many other men out there doing that. When love goes wrong, nothing goes right. When love goes wrong, Alice is the key of your relationship. And before going deeper into today's subject, I want to tell you that I'm Alice, dating and relationship coach, and that the YouTube reports showed me that over 65% of the viewers of this channel are not yet my subscribers. This news made me very sad. So please, do me a favor and push right now the subscribe button. If you watched in the past my YouTube videos and my suggestions helped you, then please push right now the subscribe button, like and share my videos to people who might benefit from my message. Doing like this, you can make this channel grow. So I'm counting on your help, and thank you for pushing right now the subscribe button. Stay till the end of this video because at the end of this video I'll give you practical advices, an extremely important bonus about why romantic love is ruining our relationships sometimes. Now let's go on and talk about today's subject, romantic love. Things I wish someone would have told me before I got into my first long-term relationship. But now I know them and I want to help you by sharing them with you. I started my first long-term relationship long time ago, and if I could go back and talk to my younger self, here's what I would say. 1. You are not just in a long-term relationship, or you are not marrying a person. You are marrying their childhood, their coping mechanisms, their family dynamics, their weird money habits, their conflict style, the way they shut down when stressed, the fact that they leave one sip of milk in the refrigerator like they are a sociopath. And they're marrying all of yours too. 2. Love is not enough. I know people hate hearing that because it sounds unromantic, but shared values matter more than chemistry long term, because eventually you stop asking, do we love each other, and start asking, do we want the same kind of life? 3. Learn how to fight without becoming cruel, because every couple fights, but there's a difference between we're frustrated and I'm trying to emotionally destroy you because I'm overstimulated. Marriage or long-term relationships is basically two exhausted people trying not to psychologically waterboard each other during tax season, as the coach 𝐫𝐨𝐦𝐚𝐧𝐭 is saying. 4. You are both going to become different people. The person I was at 18 years old is gone. And honestly, thank God. Because my 18 years version of me thought being emotionally compatible meant liking the same food or the same movies. The goal is not to stay the same forever. The goal is, can we keep meeting each new version of each other with curiosity instead of resentment? 5. The little things are not little. The forehead kiss, the drive safe, the coffee made for you in the morning, the I picked this up because I thought you'd like it, washing the dishes when she wasn't expecting for it. That's the relationship, not the anniversary post, not the wedding photos. Love mostly lives in boring Wednesday's behavior. 6. Pay attention to how they handle accountability, because everybody wants honesty until honesty applies to them. Can they apologize without making themselves the victim? Can they hear feedback without turning it into a courtroom drama? Can they repair after conflict? Or does every disagreement become an ego survival mission? Conflict is normal, but defensiveness is what kills intimacy. 7. Your partner cannot be your entire universe. I actually think this destroys a lot of relationships. People stop having individuality, friends, passions, purpose, creativity, mystery. Then suddenly marriage has to provide romance, therapy, identity, healing, security, purpose, best friends, sexual chemistry, taking care of the husband like a professional nurse, and entertainment forever. Meanwhile, your husband is just standing there trying to eat pizza and nuts in peace. That is too much pressure for the nervous system. In the end, successful marriages and successful long-term healthy relationships are usually two people who are willing to grow up instead of just grow older. Drop your best marriage advice in the comments. Let's let's educate each other.
Alice is the key of your relationship. She's the one who makes your heart just skip. In her eyes you see your world unfold. With her touch your story's always told.
Many of the clients that come to my psychological office are asking me this question: was romantic love invented by poor men so they can have access to beautiful women? Here is a clear, structured explanation that addresses your question from historical, anthropological, psychological, and cultural angles. Section 1. The origins of romantic love. Historical and social perspectives Some people suggest that romantic love might have been invented by poor men as a strategy to gain access to beautiful or high-status women. This idea is provocative, but it oversimplifies both history and human psychology. Anthropologists and historians agree that the human capacity for romantic attraction has existed since the dawn of our species. However, the social ideology of romantic love, specifically the belief that love should be the foundation of marriage, first emerged in Western Europe in the mid-18th century, around 1750. Historically, for most of human history, romantic love was viewed as disruptive and dangerous. Ancient philosophers like Plato warned that intense passion disrupted reason and social order, while marriages were arranged primarily for survival, land, combining inheritances of wealth and lineage. For more details, watch my video, Is Romantic Love Ruining Our Relationships? Does romance teach us to love in an unrealistic way? Part 1. Are today's alarming divorces caused also by unrealistic fantasies of romanticism? Watch this video. The shift around 1750 was tied to the rise of Romanticism and the Enlightenment. Individualism. Society began to value individuals' rights to personal happiness over strict duty to the family. The love marriage, the mid-18th century, marked the beginning of a cultural transition where marriages stopped being strictly economic contracts and started being viewed as frameworks for emotional fulfillment. Art and literature. Philosophers, artists, and poets of the British Romanticism movement began to idealize and idolize emotional connections. While the emotional feeling itself is ancient, the modern expectation that one must fall in love to get married became the global standard following these 18th century cultural shifts. Romantic love, as we understand it today, is the product of only 200 years of cultural evolution. Did poor men invent romantic love? Romantic love is not the invention of any social class, gender, or specific era. However, literature, religion, and social customs have sometimes given lower status men symbolic tools to compete in courtship. Key points. Romantic love appears in every known human society, regardless of class. Both wealthy and poor men express romantic longing in ancient writings. Ideas of love often reflected the interests of elites, not the poor. But romantic storytelling sometimes allowed lower status men to elevate themselves through emotional virtue rather than wealth or power. Conclusion. Romantic love was not created by poor men, but cultural narratives sometimes gave them symbolic advantages in courtship. Section 2. Anthropological background. Love is older than civilization. Evidence from anthropology shows pair bonding predates agriculture. Hunter-gatherer societies show affectionate bonds and partner preference. Emotional attachment increases child survival, strengthening evolutionary pressure for love. Romantic attachment is linked to brain systems involving dopamine, oxytocin, and vasopressin, deep biological mechanisms that evolved millions of years ago. These systems were not invented by any human class. Section 3. Ancient civilizations. Love as passion versus marriage as economics. In many early societies, marriage was mainly about property, alliances, and inheritance. Romantic love was often seen as dangerous, disruptive, or irrational. Stories and poems show that love existed emotionally but rarely dictated marriage. Examples: Mesopotamian poems Inanna and Dumuzi show early love themes. Ancient Greek culture distinguished passion described as eros from companionship described as philia. In China's Zhou dynasty, marriage was political, but love appeared in poetry like Xi Romantic desire existed, but institutional marriage rarely cared about love. Section 4. Medieval period, the rise of courtly love. Courtly love between 12th and 13th century in Europe is the closest historical phenomenon to your question. Characteristics. The romantic love was created mainly by aristocratic poets that sometimes were poor men. Often involved a knight expressing devotion to a noble woman he could not marry. Emphasized emotional intensity, loyalty, and idealization. Important detail. Many knights were lower-ranked nobility with limited wealth. Through emotional devotion, they gained symbolic status and intimacy with women above their rank, though usually not physical intimacy. This might be where the poor man invented romantic love idea partly comes from. But courtly love was shaped by elites that sometimes were poor, not commoners. Section 5. Renaissance to Enlightenment. Love becomes virtuous. By the 16th-18th centuries, love poems, sonnets, and plays written by Shakespeare, Petrarch, normalized love as desirable. Philosophers and writers reframe love as a moral or humanistic ideal. Middle-class readers adopted romantic love as part of their identity. Love now became a legitimate reason to marry. Section 6. 19th-20th centuries. Romantic love becomes universal. During industrialization, people moved to cities, weakening family control over marriage. Love became linked to personal choice, fulfillment, and happiness. Psychological theories emphasized emotional compatibility. Modern romantic love is no longer class-specific. Love is seen as essential for marriage in much of the world. Love as the base of marriage is now reinforced by film, novels, music, and global media. Section 7. Summary. Was romantic love invented by social leverage? Key conclusions. Romantic love is a universal human emotion shaped by evolution. Cultural expressions of love vary widely across time and class. Medieval courtly love gave some lower status men symbolic access to high status women, but love itself was not invented by them. Only certain poetic or social forms were. Modern romantic love is shaped overwhelmingly by culture, not class. Final conclusion. Romantic love evolved biologically and then culturally. What was created by poets, storytellers, and intellectuals across history were narratives of love that sometimes allowed men without wealth or status to participate in courtship on emotional or symbolic terms rather than economic ones. You know that feeling you get when you have a crush? You get the butterflies in the tummy. That thing that you are feeling are just hormones. Love is not felt as a real physical thing. Romance was created for men and by men to help men. Historically, women wanted to date noble men. Women wanted to date men that could offer them things, a better lifestyle, men that had skills. So all these broke men were thought, how are we supposed to secure women? So they literally made up romantic love. Women used to primarily pick and choose the partner, the husband, that made her life better, that her family chose for her because that man made the life of the entire family a better life, a life full of prosperity and wealth. And now also poor men can choose a good wife because of romantic love. So when a woman says, but I love him so much, I can't leave him, even if he can't offer me the bare minimum, even if he acts in a horrible manner? My answer is, no, you don't. It's that oxytocin going off in your body. Love is an action. It is what you do for people. There's no knight in shining armor on a white horse that's going to come and save you women. Never. It's delusion. Is romantic love a fantasy invented by men to trap women? The psychological explanation about the question that many of my female clients are asking me at my psychological office. That's a fascinating and complex question, one that touches on psychology, sociology, and gender studies. Let's unpack it from a psychological and historical perspective. 1. The origins of romantic love. Romantic love, as we understand it today, involving deep emotional bonds, passion, and idealization of a partner, is a relatively modern concept. While humans have always experienced attraction and attachment, the cultural ideal of romantic love developed in medieval Europe, especially through the tradition of courtly love. These stories, often written by men, idealized women as distant, virtuous figures whose love elevated a man's moral or spiritual worth. From a psychological viewpoint, romantic love serves adaptive functions. Evolutionary psychology suggests love evolved to facilitate pair bonding, cooperation, and child rearing, helping humans survive as a species. So while cultural expressions of love evolved differently across time, its biological roots are not simply male inventions. 2. The gendered construction of romantic ideals. Feminist and social constructionist theories argue that the way we define and express romantic love has been shaped historically by patriarchal structures. In many societies, romantic ideals positioned women as objects of desire and sources of emotional fulfillment for men, while simultaneously prescribing women to be passive, nurturing, and self-sacrificing in relationships. Psychologically, these ideals can create cognitive dissonance for women. They are encouraged to find meaning and identity through love, yet this dependence can limit autonomy and equality. So while love itself is not inherently a trap, the way romantic love has been culturally structured often reinforces gender hierarchies. 3. Is it a fantasy, and if so, whose fantasy? From a psychoanalytic perspective, written by Freud, Lacan, and later objects relationships theorists, so from their perspective, love often involves projection. We idealize the partner as a reflection of our own unconscious desires and unmet needs. In this sense, love is partly a fantasy, not a delusion, but a psychological construction that helps individuals navigate attachment and identity. If the fantasy of romantic love was historically written and spread by men, it's possible that these narratives express male fantasies about control, admiration, or emotional rescue. However, modern psychology recognizes that both men and women now internalize and reproduce these myths, often unconsciously. 4. Modern psychological understanding. Romantic love today is seen as a psychological need for connection and emotional intimacy, not merely a social trap. Yet, the unrealistic expectations created by media, gender norms, and historical myths can distort relationships, making love feel like a performance rather than a mutual bond. Contemporary therapy and relationship psychology encourage conscious, egalitarian love where both partners recognize and challenge inherited fantasies, allowing love to become a space of freedom rather than control. Conclusion. Romantic love itself is not a fantasy invented by men to trap women, but the cultural narratives surrounding it have often been shaped by patriarchal power dynamics, so it has been shaped by men. Psychologically, love is a universal human experience rooted in attachment, yet its expression has been filtered through gendered myths. Understanding that distinction between love as a biological emotional reality and love as a social construction allows us to build relationships grounded in equality, authenticity, and mutual respect rather than fantasy or domination. Was the romantic love invented by poor men so they can have access to beautiful women? This is another important question. Short answer. Romantic love isn't something invented by poor men, but it's shaped by many factors across time. It's a complex cultural idea that has existed in varied forms. Emotions and affection can be real, but the social meaning of love and who profits from it shifts with economic systems, norms, and institutions. Summary. How romanticism ruined love. Our modern idea of romantic love, the way many people today think about relationships, marriage, and intimacy, is largely shaped by a historical cultural movement called Romanticism, which began in Europe around the 18th century. 1. Romanticism influence on love. Romanticism created a powerful cultural script that tells us how love should be: passionate, spontaneous, all-consuming, and eternal. It teaches that true love should be emotionally intense and that partners should meet all of each other's needs simply through feelings. 2. Unrealistic expectations of modern romance, and this romantic script typically includes ideas like: you should instantly feel a deep attraction to someone, like love at first sight. Marriage should feel as exciting as a first love forever, not only in the beginning, but also after 10 years of marriage. Sex should always be passionate and the sign of a healthy relationship. A partner should understand you intuitively without needing to speak, to communicate. The right person will end all loneliness and fill every emotional role. Your lover should be your best friend, soulmate, co-parent, your nurse, your psychologist, your maid, your chef, your sex worker, which is impossible. Because these ideas are so hard and so specific, many people end up disappointed, confused, or feeling like they've failed at love, not because of their partner's shortcomings, but because the cultural expectations are too high, are unrealistic. 3. Problems with the romantic script. Romanticism downplays practical aspects of relationships like finances, household roles, and communication. It elevates intuition and feelings over skill and effort, making people think love should just happen rather than be learned and worked on. Toward a more mature view of love, instead of following romantic myths, we need a more mature, realistic vision of love, sometimes called a classical or post-romantic view. This includes accepting that love and sex don't always coincide, understanding that relationships require work, communication, and negotiation, recognizing that it's impossible that one person can meet all of our emotional, mental, and physical needs. Being open about practical matters early on, like money, chores, lifestyle. In short, we should not abandon love, but we should rethink the myths Romanticism taught us. and see love not as a magical feeling, but as a human skill that can be learned, practiced, and improved over time. So what do you think? Was romantic love invented by men to trap women? Is romantic love ruining our relationships? Was romantic love invented by poor men so they can have access to beautiful women? Is this still valid nowadays? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like it, subscribe for more content, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you are interested in cultivating a stronger and healthier relationship, follow my videos called How to Find Your Compatible Lover, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Follow my future videos because I'll speak about other amazing subjects regarding love and relationships. My personal advice: be unique, be special, be different so that you make the person that you are dating with, that you are married with, insatiable for you. My love for you, insatiable. Do you have a person that is insatiable for you? If you subscribe on my channel, you will motivate me to create videos with even better content. So, please subscribe right now to my YouTube channel. I can see you. L is the key of your relationship. Like and share this video to people who might benefit from my help. You can also follow me on Facebook, and my Instagram is L is key of your relationship without any space between words. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Kisses, bye!
Alice is the key of your relationship. She's the one who makes your heart just skip. In her eyes you see your world unfold. With her touch your story's always told.